In 3, 2, and
we did.
Go ahead.
We're live.
We are live.
Technology, guys. Holy cow. COVID got into the phone lines, but we got it out.
Yes, we did it.
We figured it out.
We did it. We're live. Go to YouTube Live on osirispod.com. Go right now, you guys. Come on, come hang out. Let's go. There.
Yeah. How you guys doing, everybody?
It's yeah, far out, man.
where do we start? Yeah.
Apple, how you doing?
Doing good and hanging in there, man. I like I keep saying I'm still working. I'm working a lot of overtime, working and managing the 2 dispensaries that I work in. People,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
How many, people want their cannabis, and just like they want their liquor, vices are doing well.
Yeah. Well, I know what Massachusetts went from recreational to medicinal only, I believe, during this.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think some states did that.
Yeah, several have. It was pending.
Necessary employees only or something,
How you doing, Tim?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm out there essential working, managing the animal hospital too. So it's a process going out and coming back in. We were saying that before, and I can't wait to hear, Mike, you're with your wife as a nurse, like what her process is. And even for you, Apple, like, it's not like I just had to go to the animal hospital. I left my podcast stuff there and I had to go get it. And I'm thinking about timing wise, because I know I'm going to come back and take a shower and put all my clothes right in the laundry and do all that stuff. So, it's not just get in your car and go when you want to get something every 5 minutes anymore.
Apologies, guys, if you hear noise. That's my dog. Let me try to get her.
That's okay.
Get it.
Get it. Funny, Tim, like for me and Apple and Mel works in a grocery store. Like they haven't been doing that.
Oh yeah.
No.
I was gonna say, you made me feel careless now.
Sorry.
I go to work and come home as like normal, not showering or anything. I mean, I do in the morning where I go to work, but
that's what that stench is.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about it. Up here in Oregon, it's really still kind of loose right now. There's still quite a few people out. I mean, like Joann's Fabrics is considered essential.
I mean, dude, it is though. I mean, come on. If anybody's going to be essential, it's Joann. And we need our fabric. What am I going to do without a thimble?
Yeah.
It's different here. It's hell on earth. Everything is locked down. Everything's shut down. The only thing that's open is restaurants. And if you want something, you call ahead, you pay ahead. Someone meets you in the parking lot. It's like if you want to get a pizza, it's like you're buying a small plane's worth of heroin. I mean, the way that it, they put it on the ground, you gown up, you get it, you wave from 6 feet away. But I'm like, I'm right outside New York City. So we're in that bubble. We're in that, hot zone. And with her process coming home from work is like, I mean, she, it goes all the clothes and all the shoes and everything. She changes like before she even leaves the hospital. And then when she gets here, all the stuff she wore gets put from the hospital to here, gets like put in a bag, gets put in the boiler room. She like runs to the shower, showers down, like then can come out. But we're at a point now where like, she's even wearing a mask at home because she's treating and all the right now. Like she's actually in the ICU working with patients. So it's Burley,
Yeah, so she's, really on the front line scene.
Literally, the front line right now. And that's not her normal gig. I mean, she's a nurse practitioner, but the hospital kind of went into like a contingency plan thing. So it's like when it hit the fan, they had plans of like, okay, you're going to go to the ER, you're going to go to the baby unit, you're going to go to the ICU. So she went to the ICU and it's just, but I mean, what comforts me is that, she's tough and she's honest. And she says that she feels safer there than at like the grocery store because they are wearing like an N95 mask, a mask over that, goggles, a welder's helmet with like a shield, 2 pairs of gloves, like a big gown and like hairnet and, you know, shoes over their shoes, and everything's like negative pressure. So it kind of is recycling the air through filters. And I mean, it's still as frontline as you can get, but I guess, I don't know. I'm just kind of, she's my only connection to the outside world. So I'm just trying to look at the most positive things to look for, I guess, at this point, because there's not a lot of them. So yeah, but I'm proud of her, man. And I just give props to anyone listening that's in healthcare. You guys are legitimately the heroes. And I hope that even if our government isn't, you know, backing you the way they should, just know that all of us are, you know.
Fuck.
A quick question: is the hospital she's working in, they are dealing with people that have tested positive?
Oh,
or?
hell yeah, totally. I mean, everybody here is, I mean,
they
anything elected. Well, I'm sorry, what's that?
Do they tell, like, your wife, has she been tested and stuff, or they?
No, they aren't. It's tests aren't what do you call it? Readily available.
Symptom only too.
Symptom only. So it's like if she has a which I hate that with all my heart. I mean, I think I think nurses should be tested every day.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess that's wishful thinking. You know what I mean? Apparently, we don't have enough. So the tests only go to people who are feeling symptoms, but they've gone through an entire protocol of, like, if you feel sick, if you've been exposed to another worker that's got it, if you know, like, there's
Stuff in place.
there's stuff in place. And I'm very proud of, you know, I don't ask a lot of questions. I kind of let her tell me what she wants to tell me, because I don't want to go, hey, how was your day? And I don't want to hear the answer, you know? So I kind of just let her, you know, vent to me as she likes, but she calls her friends and they go through it all and they talk nurse talk, and I watch cartoons and listen to the Grateful Dead. So she's going through it, man. It's heavy. And the people here are, you know, ventilators going and all that stuff. So it's rough, dude. And then you see, let's reopen the government, let's reopen society, and it's like,
yeah, God, the push to have everything be normal. Like, I get it, because normal feels so much better than this, but like, I think you talk to anybody in healthcare and ask them their thoughts on that, and they will scream at you.
Yeah, it's exactly
appropriately.
Right.
I just know, like, for me, I get it. I understand what's going on. And like you said, like, that push to go back to normal, I feel it in my psyche. It's a pressure inside my body that I can fucking feel, that desire to have things go back to how they were. And I think the hardest part for me anyway of all of this is coming to grips with the fact that that's never going to happen. This has altered things forever for good, no matter what. Even when we're going to shows again, even when the restaurants and bars are back open, this has made an indelible mark on culture and society, whatever those two words mean, forever.
Yeah,
and
you're right,
that's
man.
the part for me that I'm having a hard time coming to grips with. It's like, I didn't fucking order this. I want my money back. 2020 can go fuck itself. I'll take 2019. I don't care if it's used.
We'll do it again.
I'll do it again.
Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. There were some good shows. I'll take a 38-minute Ruby Waves again for sure.
Shit. So yeah, that's the thing that I'm
you're right. You're right.
coming to grips with. And honestly, I'm really glad we're doing this, man, because past days have been really hard.
Dude, you know, it's kind of and in no way is there any place for, I don't want to make this about, you know, me or whatever at all, but career wise, right? I'm going to think about, like, the stand-up comics that I work with, right? And all of us that have been, this ain't going back to normal anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be, who wants to cram into an 80-seat comedy club in the basement in the West Village in Manhattan and sit 3 inches from each other? And I don't want to be up there. I mean, when you're doing well, people are laughing, which is exhaling. I don't want to be against the wall. It's like a firing line, you know?
Yeah, go to the firing squad tonight.
Yeah. And the TV show I work for, that's on hold indefinitely as well. So it's like, my career itself is like, you know, I'm kind of like, if this isn't going to come back to normal, I might need to, like, literally rethink career stuff for the time being.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because if I find out I had it, Corona or whatever, and I have the antibodies and all that, I can't sit around. Like, I'll go get a job delivering, like, I'll drive a truck. I'm not someone that's good just sitting and waiting. Like, give me something to do. I'll go landscape. I'll go deliver food to old people, anything I can do to just get the hell out of the house at this moment, and then hopefully comedy will come back the way it was, but that's scary from a performance standpoint. It's like, I don't know when crowds are going to want to come back,
Yeah, it's good. After all this, I think we've been talking about that. People are going to look at other people differently. We're already seeing, you sneeze or got a sniffle or anything. Everybody's like, oh crap, and I don't
dude.
have to go away
Well,
for a long time.
But on the flip side of that, man, if you think about how fast everything changed, right? When all this started, like from a month ago and nobody was wearing a fucking mask when they went outside, to now everybody's wearing a mask and they're standing 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
It can also flip the other way too. Things can go back to some semblance of normal, but this is going to be something that we have to think about. And I want Tim and Mike, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on what you think about concerts and the future of that. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's going to be really interesting because for me, I've always really kind of gone through the full thought process on the whole thing. And I try to do this with a lot of people at my work. We have immunocompromised people. We have people who have kids at home. We have pregnant people. We have people who have immunocompromised people at home. And I've kind of pushed them in a way of like, you got to think about the reality of what's going on, as much as it sucks to think about that. Like, if we're not going to have a vaccine for a year to 18 months or whatever, what does that mean? Like, when are we at that state of normalcy? And I don't know. I'm obviously not a scientist or a biochemist or anything like that, but I think
you make a mean rabbit. Is that a rabbit you made back there?
No, that's my wife made that. Very crafty.
I like it. It's making me calm.
She's a Beastie Boys crafty lady.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But I what happens, like, are they doing something, baseball is talking about trying to get back up started and doing it at their spring training sites and having empty stadiums and having the baseball players, instead of sitting in a dugout, sitting 6+ feet away from one another in seats in the stands. Like, what's the friggin' point? Like, I know you want to get back to normal, but that's just dumb. So,
dude, what stinks too is like the most tranquil, nice thing about baseball. And I used to love listening to baseball was because you could hear the kind of ambient chatter of people talking to each other in between pitches. You could hear someone like ordering a hot dog. You can hear people, like, you could just hear the sounds of life at a baseball game, and it would like almost lull me to sleep. I don't know if I want to see that, where it's like, empty players just alone in the, I mean, people are going to play different. If I was playing baseball and I didn't know if the guy on the other team had corona or not, and he comes sliding into second and I'm playing short, he can have the base, dude. Yeah, I don't fucking care. We're going to have to incorporate, you can stingray people. Yeah.
And so with the concerts, like, how do you do that? You do, keeping some kind of X mark on the floor like they're doing in grocery stores to show people what their bubble is of 6 feet away from each other, and then it looks like one of those headphone discos that people are doing. I don't know.
Or everybody's got a dress. We were joking about this at work there, like that movie Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
And he's like,
man.
bubble.
Or everybody wears a hula hoop around themselves.
Maybe. Yeah, you got to bring a tarp. Tarp's necessary now. You get your space and that's it.
Can't get met at tarpers anymore.
Dude, I was thinking about this with concerts, and it's like, Fish hasn't announced any cancellation yet, but I've thought about it, and it's like, do I get on a plane, fly to Tahoe, rent a car, stay in a hotel? That's like 4 things I'm scared to death of right now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the whole thing of, and who has money? who has money right now to go? Like, that's the scary part. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had Tool tickets to what's it called? Nassau Coliseum in 2 weeks, and the show is postponed. So I'm sitting on the tickets. I call Ticketmaster, waited for like an hour and a half. I'm like, so what's going on? Am I getting a refund? And they're like, nope, just hang on to them. And the show will happen again. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go. I really don't know. I mean,
I gotta throw this. You brought up Tool. That's me and Ryder. That's on March 11th. We got to see possibly, at least for the West Coast, the last show of March. It was Tool, March 11th.
So good.
We were leaving, we heard afterwards they were trying to get it shut down, but it was right on that cusp of when everything started getting shut down.
It was the next day.
So they let it go. As we're leaving there at like 11:30, the ushers at Moda Center here are saying this was the last event. NBA has been canceled, because it's the home of the Trailblazers. And they had big banners and everything on our way out. It was like, get home, be safe, all events canceled indefinitely. And we're like, holy crap. It was like, we got to see the last Tool show, but oh my God, this is kind of scary. If I'm going to,
like doomsday.
Tool's got a rough crowd, man. If things are going around, kind of makes you nervous.
Yeah,
but how was the crowd? Was the crowd any different at all during it?
No. It was, and we thought maybe a lot of people weren't, because we were like on edge that day. Like, do we go?
Yeah.
I'm imagining Pacific Northwest Tool fans are definitely ready. I bet you a good percentage have a bunker and some dried meat. Oh, they're ready to go. Those are picklers, man. Those people been pickling.
It was packed. It was completely packed. It didn't look like anybody stayed at home. It was sold out. It was packed.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Like, this may be unpopular, and I might get shit for saying this, but whatever. This is actually really how I feel. If something like, I don't know, let's say Northwest String Summit is still going to happen in July as of today, right? End of July. If it happens, I'm fucking going. I'm going. I'm camping. I'm gonna dance and take drugs, sweat, and stand next to people. And man, this life is short. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a finite amount of time on this planet, and if that's how I'm gonna get taken out, then I do
hear what you're saying, and I do understand what you're saying. I also do see it from, and I guess it's just because it's so close to home right now, is like, I'm thinking about we're at the mercy of, like, the nurses and the doctors are the ones that are really going to suffer if we keep spreading this thing and recycling it. It's like, I know that maybe just because, like, I'm seeing it with her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad there was a nice day recently, and the only thing we can do is go for a drive around here. Like, literally, we just get in the car, go for a drive. She just got off like a 60-hour week of work. It's all about COVID. It's all about getting ready to help people. And we drive by the beach, and it's packed. The beach is mobbed with people, and everyone's like playing volleyball, tailgating, hanging out like it's Memorial Day weekend. And she's like, well, it's good to see that. I mean, just sarcastically, she's like, I guess people aren't really taking social distancing very serious, but it's like the thing that people are doing now is going to impact us for the next 2 months. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing with this disease. It's like, or this infection. It's like, you walk around for 10 days feeling okay, but you could be spreading it. And the problem is just that, like, I feel bad. I'm just nervous for her. I'm nervous for her coworkers. I'm more nervous for the nurses and the doctors. I get what you're saying, dude. We got to go on with life, but I'm going to kind of like wait until something scientific or someone that's trustworthy says, like, okay, guys, go back to, you can go back to normal. I don't see it happening for a while, but I get it, man. I get it. I totally get it. I want to be out so fucking bad.
Let me say, like I said, if they let it happen.
Yeah, I get it, man.
If they let it happen, then there's been somebody's thought about the repercussions of it at that point. If it goes down and they're like, okay, everything's okay enough for you guys to go do this thing, I'm not staying at home.
I got you.
Once they let us all off the chain, like,
And we hear all these that that was very interesting to hear from you, Maya. I had not thought of it from that perspective. Those that aren't taking it seriously are endangering
Others.
the healthcare workers, like your wife in there. It's
that's the problem.
And the system. They're just clogging the system more and more and making it tougher for them, to have those decisions. Like, I'm sure what your wife is going through or seeing her coworkers going through. I've got a friend, an ER doctor in Colorado, and he, like, even 3 weeks ago was saying, I'm already at the point where I'm having to decide on, does this person live or does this person live? And that's insane.
That's a true thing. That's a reality that they're getting to a point where and you want to know what else too, is that real life is still going on. You know what I mean? People are dying of heart attacks. People are dying of old age. People are dying of cancer, and their families can't visit them. So nurses have to basically kind of hold up a phone and FaceTime family members and say goodbye to your dad, say goodbye to your aunt, say goodbye to your grandfather, whatever. And it's because of the fact that if this thing was taken seriously when it was first, found out about, and we all took, shelter and flattened this curve faster or whatever, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's frustrating and it's scary, but I think that and I don't watch the news. I don't believe I feel like I'm watching, just someone support their team, and I hate that shit. So my news right now is my block, my radius, my 4 walls. I talked to my wife about it, and she's said the same thing over and over, that it's just the only thing that is going to work is just time and staying home and washing your hands, and all this talk, these tests, these antibodies, these this, these that shit takes time. People are still trying to figure out the flu, and we've known about the flu for a century. You know what I mean? This thing has been alive for 4 months, and it's these researchers have guns to their head, basically being figure this out now. And it's we're trying, it's going to take time to find out what's the antibody thing, what's the, and you see assholes online just going warm weather's going to kill it. You're fine. Just go outside when it gets hot out. And it's no, you're literally going to put us in a cycle right back to in October. This thing's going to come back. And I'm not a conspiracy
biochemist
guy.
or scientist?
Not at all, dude. No, I'm chicken shit, and I'm an idiot, and I'm the first to admit when I don't know something. But I do believe people who are working in the hospitals. That's just why wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and I mean, since the beginning of mid-March, like when Apple said, I've been home. The only place I've gone is to get food, and to go run around the track around the corner from my house with nobody there. And so I just wonder how long a human being and we've got it great. I've said we're sequestered in luxury.
You guys got it made.
Well, no, I mean, all of us.
Hold on, right now it's hilarious too. Me and Aaron are smiling because we look over to the right of us out the window. It's sunny and beautiful. Mel's out there with headphones on, just dancing.
Yeah, see, that's great.
Rocking out.
But we're sequestered in luxury, but still, human beings are social animals, man. We need each other. That's what's made us do what we're doing right now. I need to see you guys. I need connection with other human beings. I need to feel their energy around me.
And we all hate not knowing. That's the thing. Like you just said,
totally,
that's
dude.
how I feel. It's like I'm such an idiot.
I don't know anything.
There's no light at the end of the tunnel. We don't know what's going on. We keep going through things like 1 minute you've got convinced yourself that everything's okay, and you're like you were saying, oh yeah, heat'll do it. Oh, drinking I can drink a tonic water. It's got quinine, and then you're like, oh bullshit.
What the fuck?
Almost fooled
really.
yourself, and then it's like bull crap. I know absolutely nothing. Nobody knows absolutely nothing yet. They're trying to figure it out.
They're trying, and that's the hard part. Is that I think as humans, especially as Americans, we expect it now. We expect it yesterday. You know what I mean? This is fine. Look, the sun's out. Everything's great. It's kind of interesting too. And it's we have this, I sit alone all day, and then she comes home, and it's she tells me the news, falls asleep, and then I'm alone at night panicking. I'm just like, approach the night with caution was such an interesting line to hear in a New Fish song, because it's like I literally have to, approach how I ask her things. But I was thinking about like medieval times, right? You're living in some, far off land in England, and everything's happy, and there's Renaissance fairs and all this bullshit. Then all of a sudden some plague comes through, and like your face gets like, rots off your head, and your hands turn green and moldy, and everyone's like, it's fucking witches. It's like, like the devil's getting us. It's all black magic. And like, imagine this is that without like, but now we have internet and we have all this other stuff where it's like the unknown, but we are so like, drowned in information that we're all kind of like, hey, you know what? Like, I know it's this. I believe it's that. This is going to get me through the day. I think that like it definitely blows, and I can't wait to. I mean, I haven't. This is the longest I've ever gone not being on stage since I started comedy, and I'm like fucking climbing the goddamn walls, dude. I'm going nuts. I'm running new material by my dog. Like, it's rough. It's really rough. It's really.
That was
really
a good
rough.
pun, Mike. You didn't even intend that one, but that was good.
I ran that by you guys.
So, how is everybody coping? Obviously, I mean, is there anything that you're doing to blow off steam at all besides climbing the walls?
Well, me personally, I'm exercising a lot. I'm making a list every night of things to do the next day. I'm making sure that I get those things accomplished. Whether it's clean, whether it's cook for when my wife gets home. Let's take the dog for do this many miles walking today. Do these exercises. Work on this writing. I don't have to write jokes, so I've been writing other stuff. I've been thinking about weird things. I thought about if a blind person were to get COVID, and like, because you lose your sense of taste and smell when you get it. And I was like, I wonder about that. And the 6 foot distance thing, you can't touch someone, so that only leaves them with hearing. So I was just writing from the perspective of like a blind person with it that can only hear. And I just started like creative writing, and that like got my mind off of it a little bit. And, I guess, but yeah. And I think just listening to tons and tons of new music, that's the thing I'm doing the most of. I'm listening to like, I'm going through and listening to like Taj Mahal start to finish.
Oh, wow.
Start to finish. Like I'm going way back and listening, a lot of that, going back, I mean, old Zappa, just anything that's like deep and weird, and then working to the present.
Nice.
What about you, Tim?
For me, I think, and I kind of have said this in multiple places, but I've been doing a lot of meditation. I have kind of been doing it at night before I go to sleep, and I really hadn't tapped into that. I was interested in like your guys' deal with that, and or Mel's opinion on that, because I'm sure Mel's been doing it for a while, I think. And I kind of started doing it very loosely, like a little over a year and a half ago, and I was digging it, and then I just kind of stopped. And I think about a month ago or so, it just kind of hit me. Why am I not? I need something to do to like clear my head, to get into a good, whatever it is, 5 to 20 minute block of space. And I just started, I actually went in because I was using the Headspace app. They should be paying us for that. And then I just started adding like a bunch of different apps. I was like Googling like people's opinions of different things, and like downloaded the Calm app. There's more money for us. I downloaded Balance, also pay us a check. And yeah, just put dollar signs on the YouTube, please. And
we're like a webcam girl.
Yeah.
Just keep naming meditation apps.
Balance.
Ding, 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 ding. 10% happier. Ding, ding.
Yeah. So I've been kind of using a bunch of different things, honestly, and it has made a world of different. Like I've been doing some self-experimentation at night, which sounds really weird until I explain that word. I've been. we all had our college experience, but I have like, okay, tonight I'm not going to meditate. I'm going to see how I sleep. And it's horrible. And then I'll do it like the next night or 2 nights later or whatever. And I sleep like a million times better. And just having that time has been really, really good. And I know a lot of people do it like first thing in the morning and it kind of sets their day up. And I just haven't really had that mindset of doing it. But at night, it's just been super helpful for me.
Oh.
Yeah. What about you guys? I mean, I'd love to hear what you guys are doing up there. I mean, I do transcendental meditation, which I can get into afterwards, but I'd like to hear what you guys up in the pack NW are doing.
Like I said before, I'm like in a little different boat than the rest of you because I'm going out every day. Like, I mean, for my last 2-week pay period, I had 28 hours. I had 108 hours. Oh,
wow.
I'm so jealous,
Yeah.
dude.
So I've been working my butt off. So for me, but I mean, for me, like Aaron's doing the nighttime, the bed, that's really been fun he's doing the bedtime story. And then I just do a review of a movie or whatever I'm watching. I'm a movie and TV addict. I have no issues with that. Not one of you shouldn't watch TV.
Good time for you.
It's like, no, it's brainwashing you if you don't know, there's ways to use everything correctly. Social media, TV. I really enjoy getting in this series and it's funny. Just like Aaron and Mel, they got hooked on Tiger King.
Oh, God.
And they don't watch a lot of TV. So then I was like, a lot of times when something's that popular, it's like bullshit. I ain't gonna watch that. That's stupid. But they were so hooked on it. I was like, okay, I gotta watch. And it's an amazing train wreck of reality. I just, I'm doing the same thing. Come home. For me, my meditation is getting home long of an end day. Wow. See,
but see, that still made sense. That's one of those sentences that should work. I mean, I get it. Yeah.
Just kept rolling past it.
Long of an end day sounds beautiful.
Coming home, I'm happy. Like me and Aaron obviously are not 6 feet apart. We all live in this house together. Coming home and seeing my family here, it's nice. Oh no. So I mean, yeah, for me, Aaron is the one right now. We feel bad. Like me and Mel yesterday worked. We came home. It was Friday, so I stopped, got some good beers and stuff. And I was, it was like a long week. I'm ready to party. Mel was too, like long week. She was ready for Dance Party USA. And Aaron joined us later, but we got home and we're like, yay, Friday. And Aaron's like, fuck, and he's working from home and he's more cooped up and we're not feeling that.
Yeah.
But the podcast, I mean, I guess the long about answer that, podcasting. We've been doing a lot more podcast stuff, the story times, reviews at night. Mel's doing her yoga things and meditation stuff and doing this with you guys. This is what keeps me sane on a regular. This is therapy, doing this, talking to people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For me, Mel and I have recently started doing meditations at night. Mm-hmm. If I do it in the morning, I fall back to sleep immediately. So instantly out. That, and I found through this, like I've been running and going to the gym for like 2.5 years steady, and just did it because I don't want to be a big balloon anymore. And when this started, I realized what it's doing for my head. I never really paid attention to how much it affects my
exercise.
Yeah,
dude, totally.
Fucking huge, man. And if I'm getting anxious and pent up and skitsy and depressed and go run, and then when I'm done, I'm like, feel like I took a mental shit, and I can go take a shower, and then I'm okay for a little while. Like Apple said, I've been having a difficult time with this, man. We did a podcast with Andy Frasco just before all this started, and at the end of the podcast, this is right before COVID's big break. Mm-hmm. And the last thing we talked about was our biggest fear.
Yeah, Andy asked.
He was like, "What's your biggest fear?" I don't know how we got there, but whatever. And I was like, you know what? My biggest fear is like an apocalypse or society breaking down.
Way to go, Aaron.
Jesus.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah. I could have said
like pirate ghosts or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then 2 weeks later it fucking came real, and it fucked me up.
Dude,
like on a fundamental underneath all the outside layers, like inside fucked me up. So I'm dealing with that.
I hear you. O'Teal was in New York for the Brothers, and right before this thing, and I did a show at the Comedy Cellar, and he came and hung out. We hung out before the show. He watched my show. We hung out after. I drove him back up to like uptown to go to his hotel, and I told this story briefly on my podcast. But we were walking down McDougal Street in the West Village. And this was like, we were talking about COVID. We were talking about, because he was wondering, like, are they going to cancel the show at the Garden? Because that was all happening. That was like the last thing at the Garden was
Right.
that, I believe. We're walking down the street and this truck missing a front wheel comes barreling down the street at like 60 miles an hour at us. And there's like sparks and smoke flying, and O'Teal and I look at each other and we're like, what the fuck? And we like dove out of the way. He almost started like trying to climb a fence. I got down to like a point where if the truck flipped, I could try to like slide under it. And the truck went barrel. I'm telling you guys the truth. The thing went barreling down the street, no lights, sparks, steel just grinding against asphalt, like down a one-way street in like Manhattan. So this tiny little road, 1 a.m, 1:30 in the morning, and it's just blowing down the street. It makes a turn. It almost takes a pizza place out. The people go diving out of the way. People are screaming. And him and I just kind of like looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck was that? Like, and it's like this whole like weird doom thing just blew by us. And then next thing you know, it's like society falls apart. And him and I have talked about that moment a bunch where it's like, why did we see that?
Mm-hmm.
Why did we experience that thing? And it's just strange that there was a lot of weird, eerie shit happening all around right before this whole thing, you know? And it's weird that question came up, and it's weird that it's fucking crazy, dude.
You guys saw the shit train like go right past you. Like,
I mean, really, dude. I thought Corona was gonna like get out of the driver's seat, like, you know, like. I was like,
as
that's
Nick
how
Cage.
I was like, that's how it's getting people.
Yeah, Nick Cage steps out of the truck.
Yeah, remember that old movie where like the devil was driving a truck, like a getaway? Do you guys remember that? Apple, do you remember this movie?
Watch it right now.
Dude, it's a crazy movie. It was in the 70s, and it was like this guy was like driving away from a runaway 18-wheeler, but it turned out like nobody was actually driving the 18-wheeler. It was just like the devil was driving or something like that, or an evil spirit. Look that up, dude. I don't remember the name of it, but it's I just remember I watched it too young, and my dad being like, the devil's driving that truck, and I'm like, oh shit, and it freaked me out.
You're talking about like weird shit
that
happening.
one down.
Then in the middle of all this, Fish released Sigma Oasis.
Yeah,
so good.
Tension and Release again. Those guys
you couldn't have planned that. Like those lyrics, those songs right now. It's crazy that happened the way it just goes to show that there's something way bigger than we all even know happening underneath the surface of reality. It's
cool for Trey, like thinking about how much expression he's been getting out during all of this, and
paper
and like the song a day thing and everything, and how much he is just completely tapping into everything that he and we are going through. Is I don't see anybody else doing that.
No.
Oh, and hey, here we go, Mike. I found it. That's what I love about the internet. 1971 film Duel,
dude. That's what it was.
By Richard Matheson, which is based on his own short story. In the feature, he's being chased by what he believes is somebody driving a semi, but it ends up being the devil.
Yeah, man, that's the movie. I'm gonna watch that tonight. Thank you so much for looking that up.
Psych.
Can you watch it, and we'll get back on another pod and talk about it, because
yeah, dude, that'd be great.
Good kids bedtime story Instagram live.
Yeah.
Hey kids, we're gonna watch Duel.
It turns out, guys, it wasn't Santa driving that semi. It was the devil. Don't let the bed bugs bite. No, it's this whole thing is really kind of making appreciation of just, I'm talking to family members and friends that I haven't talked to in forever, and that's great. it's
Yes.
weird. It makes me feel bad about time lost, but then it's like, I don't know, man. I mean, you got to kind of the album, the Sigma Oasis album, and I had Tom on Amigos to talk about the lyrics too, about some of these. It's like, how the hell did they write these lyrics that fit perfectly into this experience 8 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago? Like these songs, man, the words to Leaves, an evening song. I mean, Leaves, just the way it ends, just them saying breathe, and it goes off into, it's like, reminds me of Bug, where it's like, it doesn't matter at the end, you know, and it's a very like powerful song, and I listen to it almost every morning now, and it's
not real to take off your mask.
yeah.
What?
It's
What did you
crazy.
just say?
Yeah, I love the irony
Take off
of
your
that.
mask.
So that goes to show that time is not linear, that it's a fucking plate, and
Yeah.
it's
I'm in prison without a crime. The sentence stretches on undefined, and it's like, we're all fucking, yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's really wild. But
that's another thing that's come out of this, man, that's rad, is Osiris. Like, I feel like this thing made our network congeal and come together in a different way. Like, we've never done this. We've never done this.
no.
Why haven't we ever done this?
That's very true. Very
no
true.
excuse for that.
Now I wonder if steam will kill the coronavirus.
Maybe there's some mercury. Yeah, maybe mercury is something in the. That's true, Apple. You're right, brother. Yo, so Aaron, I want to ask you, we were talking earlier about the Grateful Dead stream, and you said you had a feeling about streams, and I wanted you to talk about it. What's the
on everybody, Mike? I don't want to admit this live.
Oh, no, you don't? Okay. Well, because I might feel the same way. I want to know what your thoughts are. You're not alone.
I have a really hard time watching streams. I'm happy that they're all happening. It makes me like if you have family that you don't particularly talk to very much, and they have a party, and you know that they're having a party, you're happy that they're all together, but you're glad that you're not there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Man.
Like, I don't. When I watch a stream, I can't feel the feeling of being in the crowd, and so there's like a disconnect that happens in my head, and I can't enjoy it, and then I end up getting agitated.
And he'll walk several times I've been watching the streamer side, be like, dude, come down my room, check this out, they're jamming. He comes down maybe 2-3 minutes, he'll be like, yeah, awesome, got a huge TV, sound system sounds great. I'm not there, dude. I'm going back upstairs. I'm not there.
I hear you, dude. I get it. I understand. You're not alone.
No,
it's hard. I mean, I watch them because that's the only thing I'd rather watch. You know what I mean? It's like it's like I'd rather go back and watch the 1972, Miami Dolphins season because they were good then than go to a game this year because they suck. But I mean, it's just I think. Or maybe not, actually. Now I'd like to go. But that stadium's always empty. You're always 6 feet apart because nobody
in the Dolphins stadium.
Yeah.
But I guess, if it's like they're going to do Magna Ball this year or this week on Dinner and a Movie. And I'll definitely watch that just because it's like, but it is going to leave a sore spot thinking about after that set, walking back to your tent and just the sounds and smells and it's hard. I understand. You're definitely not alone.
And I was like that way before Corona. Like,
yeah.
I have friends who will never ever listen to live Fish, but they'll go to every show within a 10-hour drive.
I'll
very
listen.
Weird.
I love live music. Like,
no, I know. I'm just saying everybody. We all.
I'm just a fucking weird, and that's another. I'm realizing. I don't. You guys have had, if you've had this experience, I'm curious, like I'm really realizing my particular idiosyncrasies in this time of sequestration. Like my own little weird head trips and stuff are really coming to the forefront, and I'm having to deal with my shit a lot more.
Tim, you want to go?
I'm such a weirdo and so open about it, and everybody around me knows what a oddball I am. Can I get a head nod from you, babe, over there in the kitchen? Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were calling me babe.
Yeah. Get a head nod from you. That like those are, I think the difficulty is like things are more limited now. So it puts my strain, especially like food wise. Like I don't eat fruit. I don't eat any fruit at all. So once you start getting, and I'm very dietary weird. That was a horrible sentence. But when I'm going shopping now, it's like there's not as much out there, and so it's getting kind of when I eat a tomato, then you guys will know it's the apocalypse. That's how that will be the seventh horseman riding in or whatever is when I eat a tomato.
Red and tomato flavored.
Yeah.
Wow, dude, really?
Yeah. Ever since I was a baby, no fruit for me.
I think that I'm I did the microdosing in December. I microdosed mushrooms every 4 days or so, and I'm glad I did it in December because the first part of the year was incredibly busy. First quarter, whatever, January, February, and March, I traveled a ton and I did I got to do like Radio City Music Hall. I got to do a lot of really cool stuff. And then now it's just everything's like, it just came to a screeching halt. And I talked to other comics about it where it's like our bodies are telling us like, thank you for resting finally.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for not flying all over the country and not, staying up till all hours and eating garbage food at a comedy club. And so that part for the first couple weeks felt good. But my head was, like trying to wrap around how to I was trying to come up with ways for like my wife to make up a lie to like not have to go to work and all that. And I was trying to like figure out like, what if you just sent a picture of like the thermometer and it said 101? Like, can you just stay home? But I now have realized like, no, she's actually doing like a service. She's actually like helping and saving people. And I'm proud as hell of her. And it's like, now it's just, let me do whatever I can to help her. So I guess like how you guys have the ability to hang out there, and Tim, you go to work. Like my whole thing is just like, how can I make sure that when she's home, she can rest, she can laugh, she can eat, she can, like I've become kind of, Michael Keaton here, I'm Mr.
You're
Mom.
a badass, dude. That's fucking cool as shit that you have the presence of mind and the love in you.
I just feel I feel like I have no purpose right now, to be honest. And it's like the only thing I can do is like, what purpose do I have in these four walls is her and my dog. So it's really down to basics here. And it's, I just want to make sure that, I don't know, I talk to buddies about my fears and all that. So when she comes home, she doesn't have to hear them, because she's dealing with the real. Look, there's people who get this and they get chills and a fever for a couple days and then they're fine. And then there's the people she's dealing with that are dying. And then there's everyone in between. And there's a vast reality. And I don't need to like burden her with my, what ifs and why why do I have a pain in my back? And it's like, shut up, dude. Just, she's dealing with the real shit. So yes, Aaron, like to your point, it's making me deal with my idiosyncrasies. And I'm a hypochondriac. I think everything.
Oh man.
I think I have everything. I mean, she's told me about like prior to COVID, she's come home and told me about people with like pancreatic something or other. And I'm like, what are the symptoms? And she tells me fake symptoms. And then I get those. And then she's like, I'm like, oh, my upper left side hurts. I think it's the pancreas. She's like, that's not even where your pancreas is, you idiot. I lied to you. I was like, oh, I gotta go.
But all right,
yeah.
He's awesome. That's funny.
It's just, I think we need to take care of each other. I think that's really, the whole be kind thing at this point is there's a lot of good stuff online if you look for it with good news, like reading, people are stopping and saying hi to each other and be it 6 feet apart, or the UPS guy pulls into our, little street here and I'm waving and giving him a thumbs up and saying thanks. It's like, it reminds me of like that post 9/11 vibe again.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Where around this New York area where just everyone's like
united.
Yeah, finally just calm. And, you see people in New York are hanging out of their windows and banging pots and pans and singing and thanking nurses and doctors as they walk down the street to and from shifts. And it's like, I don't know, part of me is like, this is the way the shit should be, man. You know what I mean? Like the pollution's going down. You can see the Himalayas. You know what I mean? Like there's some weird shit the earth is probably like, thanks for taking a little break here, guys.
Yeah, look how cool it would be. Yeah, if you guys would just slow down and quit doing what you do, it would be a much more beautiful place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found, you were talking about apps and stuff, and I've been listening to Ram Dass's podcast, the one that Raghu Marcus did. It's called Ram Dass Here and Now. And I started all the way back at episode 1, and I I tend to wake up at about 3 a.m. every morning, and I have to get myself back to sleep. And I listen to Ram Dass's like recordings, and I swear to God, it's like I feel like my mom's like rocking me or whatever. It just puts me right into a nice, calm
Whoa.
place, and I'm just listening to his story and his acceptance with like mortality, his acceptance with like we're nothing, but that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like getting over your own ego and all that, and it's helping a ton. But I feel like I'm going on this journey to India with him, and that's a really great. I recommend that podcast for anybody who's looking for like a real thick catalog of listens. You know, and
Wow, cool.
it's super cool. Ram Dass Here and Now, it's called.
Tim,
I said
you
that
shook
to
your
myself.
head. You shook your head when he said that 3 a.m. thing.
Oh God, somewhere between 3 and 4 is my norm. A lot of times, like it will be 3:30 for like 2 weeks where I'm waking up, and so my norm is I have an iPad. I'm usually editing or doing something in bed on my laptop. My wife is watching the TV, and I'm doing whatever on my side, and then we disagree on television. So she likes very light. She could watch Friends 20 friggin' times in a year, like the whole friggin' thing. And I want to watch Ozark and Breaking Bad, and I like watching some of that heavy stuff, and she can't deal with it. So I'm on my iPad. I usually go to sleep like watching my iPad. That's my norm. And sometimes, like last night, I didn't meditate. I watched, God knows why I put this on, but I watched the dramatic Jim Gaffigan film where he's like an
Yeah.
Uber driver. God, why did I do that? I was up till like 2:30 watching that movie and then trying to figure out how I was going to go to sleep afterwards. So self-experimentation night failed. And there's in balance, which I will say, balance if you are a medical worker. Actually, balance, I think they gave away a free year because of COVID, no matter what. So you get premium service on balance if you tap into it. If you're a medical worker or a New Yorker, Headspace is giving away free premium to everybody as well. So like some of the apps are doing the smart thing that I think they should be doing, because this is helping people's mental state that are going through a lot of stress and dread right now. So but balance has something. I was kind of nodding my head. They have different sleep little things that you can use, and one of them is go back to sleep. And it's a specific 10 or 15-minute thing, and you put it on when you wake up. And seriously, I almost said literally, but seriously, every time that I have played it, when I've woken up, I'm asleep within 3 minutes every single time.
Wow.
So
That's great.
yeah, so they should give us a bonus check for that little thing.
What that's useful stuff, man.
It totally is.
Yeah, 3
It's
in the
really
morning.
cool. Gentlemen, I have to bounce.
Call
I'm
her.
sorry, but I'm gonna help her get ready for.
Tell her that we said thank you and
Yeah.
we appreciate her.
Well, let's please do this again. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, this-
I love talking with you guys, and I want to, I wish we can go longer, and maybe we can reach out to all of our respective listeners of the podcast to maybe get some questions that we can, answer. I like that biggest fear question. It's got me thinking. I'm kind of like gonna ruminate on that, and it's
Good.
got me thinking about what my biggest fear is, other than, I don't know.
Huh?
Other than Nazi bears or something.
Nazi bears is interesting.
We-
Yeah,
we-
that's a,
Tim's is tomatoes.
And being on a firing squad of coffin.
Tomatoes. Yeah. Or
yeah.
cough firing squad. Yeah.
Cough
pretty big.
firing squad is that's a. I think comedy's gonna need one of those like spit guard shields, like the like the drummers have.
Guard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need one of those.
All right, you guys.
And
I
a
love you.
penalty
man.
box.
We'll
Love
do
you
this
guys so much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, man.
Be
Thanks for
safe
doing
out there,
this.
everybody, and thank you to all the healthcare workers. You guys are
Thank
really
you.
the best.
for
Yeah.
watching. Love you, Tim.
Love you guys.
Peace out, guys.
Awkward pause.
Tim, we'll talk more, okay?
Yeah. I'll text you.
Yeah, please do. All right.
Okay. I hope everybody saw that.